Welcome to the Beauty Moves podcast. I am your host, Koyeta Tamara, and your guide on this transformative journey. This podcast is your ultimate destination for inspiration, actionable strategies, and real talk conversations about building a successful business while becoming the best version of yourself. We'll dive into topics that empower you to elevate your skills, grow your brand, and navigate the challenges of entrepreneurship with confidence. You'll hear from industry experts, learn the secrets behind thriving businesses, and discover the mindset shifts that will set you apart in a competitive world. So whether you're starting out or looking to take your business to the next level, you're in the right place. Together, let's take bold action and make your vision a reality. Let's make beauty moves. Welcome to Beauty Moves Podcast. I am your host, Koyeta Tomara. I'm so excited to be back. It's been a while since I've done a podcast episode because life has been crazy and the time has been lacking. But I said 2025 has to be the year to get back into what I enjoy. You may also notice that the podcast name has changed from CLI Podcast to Beauty Moves, and that is by design to honor my background in the beauty industry, 19 plus years in the beauty industry. So I'm really excited to be back with a new name, new form, same great message to empower you in your business. And first, I would like to start with looking at leadership. I've, as I said, been around for a while and really have not explored this side of business and what it looks like, what it feels like, and what it's often confused for. So I wanted to start a leadership series. I've been talking about this in my stories on Instagram. So thank you all for your feedback. It's been really great. And I think it's really necessary that we take a closer look now and make sure that we're doing things the right way and we're honoring the right people for their leadership, because it's also really important if we want great output from our leaders, from the people that we put in positions. So let's talk about leadership. In my leadership series, I have a few podcast episodes dedicated to different parts of leadership. But I want to start by defining leadership. Okay, what is leadership? And understanding of laying the foundation for leadership, its core principles, what it looks like, and things of that nature. So one of the ways leadership could present itself is in taking initiative to address issues in your current role and making them better. Right? That's one way leadership could show up in your business, in your industry, in your work, perhaps. It could also look like taking on a project, right? It could also look like taking on a special project that your boss gives to you, your leader, and so forth. And it could also look like leading in the way that you treat others, which means being a role model for others. Let me just pause and get some water because I feel like, thank you. I feel like I needed that. What does leadership look like? It could present itself in three ways, which is one, taking initiative to address issues in your current role and make them better. Number two, taking on a project. And number three, leading in the way you treat others, which means being a role model for others, right? So the definition for leadership is really important. So let's talk about that. Leadership is about serving. It's about serving. It's about, and I think we're going to explore that some more. It's about serving, not a title or position. It's about taking initiative, being a role model, and creating a positive impact from where you are, right? Creating a positive impact from where you are, which means it's not a definitive role. You may be a leader, yes, but you can lead wherever you are. So, one myth about leadership is that it's only for managers or CEOs. And the truth is that, as I just said, leadership happens in everyday moments. Okay, so you can mentor a peer or take initiative to solve a problem. That is leadership. So whether you're behind a chair, machine, desk, computer, a counter, working with clients or with a team, you can lead directly from where you are. So I'm going to give you a few examples of that. And number one is being the problem solver. So you notice someone on your team, a stylist, a worker, notices inefficiencies in inventory tracking, and they implement a simple solution and shares it with the team. So that is leadership. Their leadership has created smoother operations, which is critical to your business, to the day-to-day working and how the business operates. So that is leadership, being a problem solver. And number two, the motivator. So maybe let's say a salon owner, a leader introduces monthly goal setting sessions with incentives, boosting team morale and productivity. That is motivation that you're giving to your team. That is leadership. That's going to help with team morale and productivity. We need to know that that's very important when it comes to your business. Running a business, leading is morale, team morale and productivity, because that's the engine of the business, right? So the core attributes of leadership I mentioned earlier is about service. It's about elevating others, solving problems, and being dependable. It's about taking initiative, because great leaders address issues and take action proactively. They don't ignore it or wait for ish to hit the fan, right? I've met a lot of leaders that they actually love drama. They love when things are chaotic. And I don't understand that mentality as a person that loves order. Like a little, things can and will sometimes go not as you plan. That things can sometimes be unpredictable. Life can be unpredictable. But you don't wait for it to get there. You plan for the best and see what happens, right? So one of the core attributes of leadership is character. Leadership gives a lasting impression as shown through kindness, emotional, intelligent, and fostering growth in your company, right? Leadership is in your character. So it's not a role. It's not because you're a CEO. It's not because you're a manager. It's not because you're a team lead. It's not any of those things. It's in the core of who you are, right? There is no price tag on good leadership. Let me tell y'all that, no price tag. We often underestimate the power of simple things in leadership, like kindness. Simple. As mentioned earlier, being a problem solver or giving someone the opportunity to become a better version of themselves. Those things are highly underestimated because they are not seen as something that, provides finance, provides a boost to income. And actually they do, because if there's kindness being offered to clients or to workers, if you're solving a problem, it will always increase your profits. Or giving someone the opportunity to become a better version, that will always increase your profits, right? So leadership also influences. It influences for the good and the bad. For the good and the bad. So when there's good leadership, people will want to reward great leaders. People will want to give great leaders um, feedback, great feedback, extraordinary experiences. When you do that for people, they'll want to share. So in my personal life, when I get great service or extraordinary service, I want to share that. If it's with the cable company guy or at the mall or at the nail shop, if you've had a great experience and let's say you get a survey or a request for feedback, you're going to share that experience. That happened recently with me. I upgraded my phone. I had a great experience, and when I got the survey, I gave the gentleman like really great feedback because it was great. It was phenomenal, right? Um, and also I've received gift from my clients because of the way I conduct myself, because of the experience I leave, because of how I leave them and the experience they have with me. They always say leave people in a better position than you found them. And if you've done that, people will recognize that and want to they'll highlight that. They'll want to bless you, if you want to say that, right? So I don't ask for anything. The evidence speaks for itself in that case. You're not asking, hey, for the service, give me. No, people will give it to you because the evidence of how you've left them, of your work, of your interaction will speak for itself. And that's how impactful leadership works. It always leaves a trail. It always leaves an indelible mark that solicits a certain type of energy that can only come from a place of gratitude and recognition, meaning they have no choice but to recognize it, right? And you know when you get good service or exceptional service. And someone will always recognize that excellent leadership. So, the takeaway for today in terms of leadership is that leadership is measured by the impact you have on others and not by the position or title. It's not a position, it's not a title. And we have to do away with that old notion. You can lead right from where you are as a customer service agent. I've seen customer service agents just make somebody's day so much better. And they call for their manager and they speak to their manager just about how great of an interaction that they've had. And that's leadership. We have to stop putting and believing that leadership is a title, right? And we have to empower others to lead in the role that they're in because it makes your business better. It makes your business thrive. It makes your business smooth. It makes your job easier as the leader when you have reliable people that lead in their position. You don't have to question what's happening. You don't have to micromanage what's happening. You don't have to wonder, second guess what is happening in your organization if you are empowering others to lead, right? So key questions for you in your business and your work and your industry, whatever you're doing, is what small actions can you take today to lead with influence and service? What small actions can you take today to lead with influence and service? And number two, how can you redefine leadership for yourself in your current role? So you may not be the CEO, you may just be, at the desk or behind the chair, but how can you redefine leadership for yourself in your current role? Really important. Really important because some people feel disenfranchised because they're not in a role and they didn't get the promotion. And there may be reasons for that, but you can still lead within your role. You can still lead within your role. And what you can also do is build up your leadership qualities so that when you do go back for the said role, it speaks for itself and you have a record of leadership, right? If you are going to be the problem solver, keep a record of whatever you're doing because that's leadership so that when you go for that role, you have a record. You can call back to something. You can show, you have proof, you have evidence of that. So don't forget that all those things matter for you in leadership. Okay, so next week we're going to be talking about staying even keel in leadership. I want to thank y'all for joining me today. Stay tuned. Thank you for tuning into the Beauty Moves podcast. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment, as this helps improve my ranking. Take care. Until next time.